Age is not just a number, it's a collection of experiences that shape who we are. Yet, with each passing year, we begin to realize how much we've been carrying with us. And sometimes we wish we had the courage to let it all go. As we grow older, we're constantly reminded that time waits for no one. But there's something liberating about accepting your age. It's not about the years behind you, but about the courage to face what's ahead. The truth we don't often admit is that with age comes the weight of unspoken thoughts, lost dreams, and things left undone. And sometimes we need the courage to acknowledge that we're more than the years we've lived. It's not about how old you are, but about how much you've learned from the moments you've lived. Each year adds to our story, but the hardest part is acknowledging the parts of us we've hidden for too long. Sometimes age feels like a burden. The older we get, the more we realize how many things we've neglected, the feelings we've never expressed, and the dreams we've buried deep inside. It's strange how age can make you feel like a stranger to yourself. You wonder why it took so long to admit certain things, why it took so long to own your truth. With age, we accumulate stories we never tell and feelings we never share. The courage to be vulnerable, to admit what weighs on us, is often the most freeing moment we can experience. When we're younger, we think we have time. But with age comes the stark reality. Time isn't guaranteed. And sometimes we must confront the unspoken truths about ourselves and the people we've become. Age brings wisdom, but it also brings regrets and what ifs. It's the silent, unspoken truth that we often ignore, the things we wish we'd done differently, the words we wish we'd said, the courage we wish we'd had. There's a moment in every person's life when age stops being a blessing and becomes a reminder of everything left behind. The hardest part is not the years, but the things you never had the courage to confront. Age gives us perspective, but it also reveals what we've hidden from ourselves. The things we've never admitted are often the ones that hold the most power over us. The older we get, the more we start to understand that life is not about perfection, but about learning to be honest with ourselves. It's the courage to face what's been left unsaid that gives us true freedom. There's something about getting older that forces us to confront the fears we never dared speak about. And in that confrontation, we find the courage we never thought we had. With age comes the realization that we've been running from truths that have been right in front of us all along. The courage to admit them is the key to unlocking the life we've always wanted. We don't realize it when we're younger, but age doesn't just change our body. It changes how we view the world and ourselves. The things we never had the courage to admit often become the defining moments of our lives. Age teaches us that some things don't get easier, but we do. The more years we live, the more we understand that facing our deepest truths requires strength we didn't know we had. What they don't tell you about getting older is that it forces you to face the parts of yourself you've been running from. And it's in that moment of reckoning that you find the courage to finally embrace who you truly are. Time doesn't heal all wounds, but it does make them more visible. As we grow older, we begin to realize the unspoken thoughts and feelings we've hidden for so long, and it's time to confront them. Age is supposed to bring wisdom, but sometimes it brings clarity about things we never wanted it to see. The unspoken emotions we've held onto for years begin to demand attention, and we can't ignore them any longer. As we age, we start to realize that it's not the years that define us, but the truths we've left unsaid and the courage to finally speak them. Growing older means becoming more aware of the stories we tell ourselves, the lies we believe, and the truths we fear to confront. But as we get older, we find the courage to be honest in ways we never imagined. It's funny how age brings you closer to the truth, yet farther from the desire to hide it. The older we get, the more we realize how important it is to admit the things we've been too afraid to acknowledge. Age teaches us that we can't outrun our emotions forever. The things we've never said, the feelings we've buried, all come rushing to the surface, and it's only when we have the courage to face them that we truly grow. We all face the inevitable truth that age brings, the fear of what we haven't done, the emotions we've never expressed, the things we've hidden from ourselves. But with that fear comes the courage to finally take control of our story. As time goes on, we start to realize how much we've been holding back. It's not the years that haunt us, but the things we never had the courage to admit to ourselves. Getting older means learning to look at yourself in the mirror and admit the things you've been avoiding. It's not easy, but in that moment of honesty, you find a strength you didn't know was there. Age brings clarity, but it also brings a sense of loss. The things we wish we'd done differently, the emotions we never expressed, all seem to catch up with us, reminding us that time waits for no one. With age comes the wisdom to know that time doesn't stop for anyone. But there's also the realization that we've wasted time hiding from ourselves and that it's finally time to face the truth. The problem with age isn't just the physical changes, it's the mental and emotional changes that come with it. The older we get, the more we realize how much we've been holding in. and how much courage it takes to finally let it all out. As we age, we begin to notice how much we've ignored, how much we've pushed aside. The hardest part isn't getting older, it's realizing that we never had the courage to truly be honest with ourselves. We may think that age will bring us peace, but sometimes it brings us face to face with the very things we've been avoiding. But in facing those things, we also find the courage to become the person we've always wanted to be. There's an unspoken truth that comes with age. We often find ourselves facing the feelings and thoughts we never had the courage to admit, but in admitting them, we begin to release the weight they've held over us. The problem with getting older is that it forces you to confront the parts of yourself you've hidden away for so long. But it's in that confrontation that we find our strength and our freedom. As time moves forward, we are forced to face the truth we've been avoiding for years. The things we never had the courage to admit. And it's only when we embrace those truths that we can truly move forward. Growing older isn't just about getting more wrinkles or gray hair. It's about the emotional baggage that accumulates over the years. It's time to admit the things we've been avoiding and let them go. Age has a way of making us face what we've avoided for so long. The hidden truths, the unresolved feelings. It's the hardest part of growing older, but it's also the most liberating. The older we get, the more we realize that time doesn't heal everything. It just makes certain truths more obvious. The hardest part is having the courage to face those truths head on. With age comes the quiet realization that there's no such thing as perfect timing. The things we've been waiting to do, the feelings we've been waiting to express, will never be easier to admit. The time is now. As we grow older, we begin to realize how much of our lives have been lived in silence. The thoughts we've never shared, the feelings we've never expressed, all come rushing to the surface, and we must find the courage to speak them. The truth we often hide from ourselves is that as we age, we realize that it's not the years behind us that matter, but the courage we have to face the unspoken feelings and truths we've buried deep inside. Age doesn't just change how we look, it changes how we feel about who we are. The biggest struggle isn't how others see us, but how we finally see ourselves, and the courage to admit the things we've been avoiding. With age comes the realization that we've spent so much time worrying about the wrong things, the regrets, the unspoken words, the hidden feelings. They're the real issues we need to confront. The problem with age isn't the time it marks, but the reality it forces us to face. We are often left to deal with the things we never had the courage to confront when we were younger. growing older means coming to terms with the fact that time isn't infinite and the things we've ignored will eventually demand our attention. The courage to face them is what sets us free. Sometimes the hardest part of aging is realizing how much we've been afraid to face. The feelings, the thoughts, the things we've hidden. Age forces us to confront them, but in that confrontation, we find liberation. As we grow older, we become more aware of the moments we didn't seize, the words we didn't say, the truths we didn't admit. But in that awareness comes the courage to finally speak up. Age teaches us that the things we've hidden away are the very things that hold the most power over us. It's only by admitting them that we can truly move forward and find peace. What we don't realize until we get older is that the things we've been avoiding are often the very things that define us. The courage to confront them is what makes us truly free.